Flower Bandits breaking news, coming at you live with the most exciting and up-to-date eco news of the week. Hello and welcome to Flower Bandits Eco News. I'm your host, the Flower Bandit, and today is Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. And let's find out what's been happening around the world regarding the world this week. Extreme flooding dramatically changes Yellowstone National Park. Record rainfall and flooding has forced the park to close and evacuate more than 10,000 visitors. The extreme weather event was so intense that the northern part of the famous park could remain closed for a substantial length of time due to severely damaged, impacted infrastructure, the park website announced on Tuesday. Quote, the landscape literally and figuratively has changed dramatically in the last 36 hours, Park County, Montana Commissioner Bill Berg told AP News on Wednesday. The incident began over the weekend as a storm brought 2 to 3 inches of rain, the New York Times reported. However, at the same time as the rain was falling, warmer temperatures caused 5.5 inches of snow to melt, leading to major flooding. On Sunday, rainfall totaled 1.37 inches, surpassing the previous record of nearly half an inch of rain. At first, flooding and mudslides closed roads in the northern Yellowstone on Monday morning, according to the park website. Nearly 2 hours later, all the park entrances were closed. In the end, the flooding forced over 10,000 people to evacuate the park, damaged hundreds of nearby homes, washed away bridges, and forced a popular fishing river off course, AP News reported. One person died of a heart attack at a campground, but no one else has been reported injured or killed, according to the New York Times. The heavy rains and warmer temperatures behind the disaster are both in keeping with trends in the region due to the climate crisis. According to the Greater Yellowstone Climate Assessment, the upper Yellowstone watershed is 2 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than it was in 1950, and its spring rains have increased by 20% since that same date, Bloomberg reported. And the park is not out of the woods yet. More rainfall and snow melting temperatures are predicted for the near future, according to the Washington Post. Human trash has been discovered on Mars. Yes, Mars. Although humans have not stepped foot on the planet, there is something preceding our visit, and it's trash. NASA's Perseverance Mars rover announced on its Twitter account Wednesday that it had encountered a piece of human-generated litter on the red planet. Quote, my team has spotted something unexpected. It's a piece of a thermal blanket that they think may have come from my descent stage, the rocket-powered jetpack that set me down on landing day back in 2021, the rover tweeted. Thermal blankets are used to control temperatures, and Perseverance was wrapped up in this foil material ahead of its departure. The piece of blanket isn't the only trash that Perseverance has brought to Mars. In April, NASA's Ingenuity Mars helicopter took photos of the gear left behind when Perseverance landed. The garbage on Mars is an example of a growing problem. As humans explore space, they leave trash behind. Debris from previous missions include boots, parachutes, and entire vehicles, according to Insider. The Department of Defense's Global Space Surveillance Network sensors currently track more than 27,000 pieces of space junk orbiting the Earth, according to NASA. The space trash poses a threat to the International Space Station and other human-populated vessels. However, there are not many regulations protecting space from the debris, Insider pointed out. For more rules to be enforced, space would have to be defined as humanity's common heritage, University of San Francisco astronomer Professor Aparna Venkateswaran said at an event reported by Insider. So we're sort of at a turning point. There's so much trash already out there in space, orbiting as space junk, that now it's the question as what to do to regulate it. So space isn't owned by a country, company, or individual. It's a common humanity heritage space place, and we have to all agree as a world, everyone on the whole globe has to agree to make some sort of treaty to protect it so that all of humanity can be protected. So now it's sort of the question as to how to move forward. Tennessee State Park unveils new trail made completely of illegally dumped tires. Every day, innovative and creative communities are coming up with new ways to make use of pollution. The latest example, a new 2.5-mile long walking and biking trail in a Tennessee park that is made of old tires. Workers and 450 registered volunteers collected over 24,000 tires of all types, including tires from passenger, commercial, and heavy equipment vehicles. In just one day, more than 10,000 tires were collected. The new rubber trail replaced worn paths from a former golf course, and the refreshed trail, as well as new connections, have created a loop around the park. According to Joseph Galbado III, interim commissioner of the Tennessee Department of Transportation, the department spends over $19 million per year to pick up litter and illegally dumped items. Quote, "We are thankful for collaborative partnerships like the Tires to Trail project, which not only addresses the litter problem but turns it into a meaningful and positive, long-lasting resource for the community," end quote. Tennessee's new state park is one of the longest made up of rubber tire crumbs, but many other states are looking at this material for walking and biking trails. Kentucky's Department of Waste Management recently welcomed applications for projects that utilize rubber crumbs. In April, Alabama unveiled new road sand parking areas at Lake Guntersville State Park made up of recycled tires. A recycled rubber walking trail at Obregon Park in East Los Angeles, California was installed back in 2014 for locals to enjoy. What a great way to make use of illegally dumped pollution and turn it into something new and really helpful for the community. So they took all of this trash and the tires that were being dumped on the park land and turned it into something that could be useful for the park and productive, which is a great thing. I think reusing items before tossing them out is definitely should be the main goal. The 3 R's are in order, so reduce, reuse, recycle. Reducing, of course, is first, so if you don't have to use an item, don't. And then the second is reuse. So of course, anything that you already have, before tossing it out or even recycling it, try to reuse it, make a new use of it, or make something new out of it that can be used instead of just recycling it or sending it to the landfill. And I think this is a great example of that put to use. 3 oil companies pull out of Alaska's National Arctic Wildlife Refuge. 3 oil companies have canceled their leases in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Drilling in the refuge has long been a controversial issue, as the 19.5 million acre wilderness area is home to 45 species of mammals, including polar bears, bowhead whales, and caribou, and considered sacred by the indigenous Gwich'in people, according to Gwich'in Steering Committee. Quote, "These exits clearly demonstrate that international companies recognize what we have known all along. Drilling in the Arctic Refuge is not worth the economic risk and liability that results from development on sacred lands without the consent of indigenous peoples," the Gwich'in Steering Committee said in a statement. Quote, "Chevron's decision to formally relinquish its legacy lease position was driven by the goal of prioritizing and focusing our exploration capital in a disciplined manner in the context of our entire portfolio of opportunities," company spokesperson Dina McMullen told The Hill. The company's decision to pull out follows political uncertainty over the lease, as the Biden administration put a halt to exploration in the refuge and suspended the leases for more study. Indigenous and environmental groups also led a campaign against drilling in the refuge, and 29 banks and 14 international insurers have now said they won't fund drilling in the refuge, according to Gwich'in Steering Committee. However, environmental groups responded favorably to the news, arguing that drilling in the refuge would be dangerous both to the local ecosystem and the global fight against the climate crisis. Quote, "This is positive news for the climate and the human rights of indigenous people whose survival depends on a healthy, thriving calving ground for the porcupine caribou herd, and further proves that the oil industry recognizes drilling on sacred lands is bad business," end quote. Wilderness Society Alaska State Director Carlin Ichok said in a statement reported by the Washington Post. This is a bit of a turning point, as now the oil companies themselves are recognizing that it's not a good idea to be drilling on these sacred lands, even if it's just for their business means. It's still making a difference no matter what their viewpoint is. It's still keeping them from drilling on sacred lands and areas where wilderness needs to be protected. So keeping the waters clean and the animals and the human rights protected. So this is a good step forward, even if the companies aren't recognizing why it would be a good step forward, that they're just saying it's bad business and because of politics. But either way, it's still a positive step forward, and it's still something to be happy about, and it's great news. The lands are going to be protected, the human rights of the indigenous peoples are going to be protected, and all of that wildlife that live on those lands is also going to be protected. There won't be any oil spills in that area soon, so that's great news. And that's the last story I have for you all today. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen anything else in the news lately that I didn't mention, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. Love to get this conversation started. If you have any comments on anything that I reported on, please do share as well. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I come out with new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes Saturdays, so I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!